Okay, beautiful. We're going to start in a yin pose, and we're going to start in Sphinx. So it's just like the statue in Egypt, but with your beautiful nose intact. And with your legs just stretching back behind you, you can take them as wide as the yoga mat, if that's okay for your lower back. And then you slide your elbows just a little bit in front of your shoulders at shoulder distance apart, so it can be really nice and passive. So we start these first couple of poses yin style, which means you're using just enough muscles to stay in the pose. And then you're going to relax all the rest of your muscles as much as possible. And allow yourself to be still and stay still. So this part of our practice, this yin yoga, is really only yin because we're comparing it to the other part of our class. Where we're gonna be in the yang flow and making the warmth and the fire come to light in us. So in these first couple of postures especially, you want to find the pose that's right for your body. You can make small adjustments. There's no penalty for learning. And then once you're in the pose, make your body as soft and still as possible. You can nearly imagine the surface of a lake becoming still after a boat has passed by. And then the third part is be willing to stay. We stay in the yin poses for a little bit more time because where the yin poses go into our body is in the ligaments, the tougher tissues that hold our bones together. You can imagine the tissues have the substance kind of like old chewing gum. So if you yank on it, it'll break in half. But if you slowly, I mean, I don't play with old chewing gum that much, but if you slowly pull at the ends, then it'll start to slowly stretch out. Without changing it, just take a couple moments to start to notice your breath. Hear the sound of your own breath moving in and out of your body. And then include in your listening the knowing that we're practicing together with other people, even if they're in a different country. So we're actually breathing together. A little less than a year ago, I went to a talk and irresponsibly right now, I cannot for the life of me remember the guy's name, but he would be happy to hear that I remember what he talked about. And he gave us this mantra of telling like that we always should be reminded that we're in the right place at the right time with the right people. Now, as we, practice our yoga alone in our room, that seems like okay. but especially if we've had the privilege of being in quarantine or lockdown, stuck with the same people day in, day out. It's very easy to imagine that your dissatisfaction or struggle is because clearly you're not in the right crowd. Or maybe you have a romantic idea about how things used to be. You know, this thing people keep referring to as returning back to normal, which was a place I never got to, anyways. But still, this kind of romantic idea of, "Ah, I wish it was this time or that time." Or maybe if I were over there in that place, I would feel so much better. How often we let this loop through our mind. And then with your next inhale, engage your abdominal muscles and just gently, softly lower yourself down to the ground. You can stack your arms and bring your forehead onto your forearms. And then wiggle your butt side to side, just gently shaking your hips side to side. Take a nice full recovery breath here. Maybe feeling the energy kind of flood back into your body in certain areas. And then slide your hands underneath your shoulders and push into downward facing dog or plank just for a transition. And then bring your right knee forward to your right wrist and drop your leg down. So you're preparing for half pigeon or swan because we're doing it yin style. Now, if you have nice and open hips, you can just have your right knee slightly to the right of your right hip and your left leg stretching straight back. If you're tighter in your hips, you have two options. One is you can put, like, if your hip is up like this, you can put a pillow or some books underneath your buttocks, and that will support you. The other really nice adjustment is you bend your back knee and actually let your left hip open a little bit. And this makes it so it's like a deer pigeon pose. So either one, find your position, wiggle it around, and then see if you can stretch your arms forward and stretch your body long. You look good, it looks nice. Just one thing to be mindful is you just want your right knee to the right of your hip rather than straight in front of your groin. And you feel it like a compression in your hip flexor and some stretch in your glutes and your hamstrings a little bit. And once you find the right position, take a full inhale and then just sigh it out through your mouth. Another nice little thing is you can use a pillow underneath your chest if that's something that's helpful for you. Now is the time. Now is the time to know that all you do is sacred. Now, why not consider a lasting truce with yourself and God? Now is the time to understand that all your ideas of right and wrong were just a child's training wheels to be laid aside. When you can finally live with the veracity and love, now is the time for the world to know that every thought and action is sacred, that this is the time for you to compute the impossibility, that there is anything but grace. Now is the season to know that everything you do is sacred. Now is the time. If we imagine that we're breathing together with the whole world, that we are intimately connected with human beings all around this globe, and that every choice you make affects other people. Now is the time to know that everything you do is sacred. And it turns out that it's always the time. These words are from Hafiz centuries ago. But as with great truths, you can find them lit up in different places at different times throughout our history. And for myself, I've also noticed that with these kind of truths and learnings, we have to revisit it again and again. Of course, sometimes they land like epiphany, where insight affects your thinking and your feeling and your way of being all at once. But it's like honesty. You don't get to be honest once and then you're an honest person. On the daily, you have to be honest with the people you meet, the world outside of yourself, but also this practice of being honest internally is a practice of again and again looking and knowing your insides, understanding the changeability of our becoming, that we are a bundle of processes, both biological, neurological, energetic, and spiritual. And the way that shows up in us is we can have one thing alive on one day, and the next day we are completely like a pendulum swung to the other side. And the next day again, here we are, remembering, oh, that's right. Everything I do is sacred. So we practice it like a muscle. Who do you want to be? And you might be just thinking, who cares? I just want to move my leg. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders and transition through downward facing dog or plank. And you can shake out your right leg and see if you can make it look floppy like a floppy pencil. Let it wiggle and shake, even your back of your thighs wiggling a little bit. Yeah. A little hip twist. And then relax your beautiful right leg and lift up your left leg and bend your knee and bring your left knee forward to your left wrist. Open up your shin so your heel's in front of your groin. If you're more flexible, you bring your left shin to be parallel with the top of the mat. If you're tighter in a body, which is especially all of our bodies are tighter in the morning if we've slept all night or even half the night. And then we bring the heel closer to the midline, closer to your groin. Stretch your right leg long, maybe bend the knee. And then if you know where you're going, especially, you don't need my permission, walk your hands forward and lay your chest down, either stretching your arms out in front of you or stacking your forearms and bringing your head onto your forearms. Take a full inhale. And with your exhale again, let your sigh, the sounds come out through your mouth. Just sound it out. Ah, and feel your body believe you. So, in a little bit more of a contemporary poet and philosopher, one of my favorites, Wendell Berry, echoes kind of the outside picture of what Hafiz is talking about. Geese appear high over us, pass, and the sky closes. Abandon, as in love or sleep, holds them to their way, clear in ancient faith. What we need is here, and we pray, not for new earth or heaven, but to be quiet in heart and in eye clear. What we need is here. So as you stay in the posture, notice where you're feeling it. And practice breathing in this challenge, the difficulty, the struggle with the pose. And with your exhale, breathe out and imagine what it is that you want to feel, what you want to experience, where you want to be. With your inhale, breathe in courageously the struggle, the pain, the suffering. And with your exhale, you breathe out that pain and suffering transformed. And I know I am really tired this morning, and a lot of yoga teachers teach this exactly the opposite. But my darlings, my dear, you are amazing. You can transform even the deepest suffering into insight, growth, and strength. As human beings, we are of the nature to transform things. And in our sleepfulness or unconsciousness, often we'll transform things to fit the trauma of our childhood or fit into a pattern that we have grooved and kind of dug into our habits in life. But in our wakefulness, for instance, if we practice Tonglen, this Buddhist practice, if we breathe in what is hard and challenging and remember to breathe out and give what we want to see more of, we'll actually start to experience that more in the atmosphere around us. We might even leave a nicer space for other people to be. And then slide your hands underneath your shoulders, stretch your left back up to the sky, shake it like nobody's looking, wiggle around, do like a spastic leg dance. Woo! And then bend your knees, reach your hips up and back, stretching your spine long. And then slowly start to straighten your legs a little bit, letting your heels get heavier. Now wiggle your hips around, dance your spine a little bit. It's nothing professional. Wiggle a little bit more, Paris, so we can see what it's like. Oh yeah. So it's really just wiggle. You can't wiggle wrong. Take a full breath in, and with your exhale, just sigh out. And then drop down to your knees, tuck your toes under. So just you're tucking your toes under. And for some people, this is like no big deal. Like I could probably, hang out and chat for a good 15 minutes here. For other people, it feels like they're, putting glass into their feet. So I don't want you to practice being a masochist. It's okay with me if you're uncomfortable, annoyed, and angry. That can happen with the toes. But if it's sharp pain and like you can't remember your name, that's too much. So you want lagom pain. And lagom means just the perfect amount. So bring your hands to heart center. Let the weight land on your heels and lift up through your spine as if you have this magical string coming out of the center of your head, reaching up to the ceiling. Empty your breath, close your eyes. Take a deep inhale. Ah. 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 And then you got it, Stephanie. We're with you. Bring your hands down and start to slap out your feet. Oh, the feels. And then rock back and lift up your knees and stretch your ankles. And then with a little momentum, rock back to downward facing dog. So you bring your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and then tuck your toes and lift up your hips. And you want to have a little curve in your lower back. So you're actually trying to like reach your sit bones. You want to imagine turning your sit bones up towards the sky. So maybe some of us are a little curvier than pear. So you can really imagine like you're sticking your booty up to the gods. I mean, still on the best side first, right? And just take a couple of movements, maybe bend one elbow at a time and wiggle your arms around a little bit. Maybe bring your weight a little bit more forward, kind of gently warming up your wrists. Nice. And then just start to just hop your feet up and down, little teeny like baby hops. And see if you can start to get all of those soft, squishy parts in your body to jiggle and wiggle. Yep. So if you don't have that many soft parts, you have to be really relaxed and bouncy here. Gorgeous. And then start to do downward facing dog jumping jacks. So you jump your feet out and in and out and in and out and in. Couple, yeah, off your mat, onto your mat, off your mat, onto your mat. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come to your downward facing dog. And just pause for a minute in your dog and feel the vibrancy. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. Look forward in between your hands and walk your feet in between your hands. With your knees bent, glide your chest forward and have a straight spine. Your chest is reaching and your shoulders push back. With your next exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Your hands can be relaxing down to the ground. Then push down with your feet and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Try to touch the ceiling, reach it up high. Well done, pear. And with your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Samastitihi. And then drop your hands down and reach up with your inhale. Gather the energy around you. With your exhale, bring your hands through heart center. This is nicer for your lower back. And bow down. Let your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift. So shoulders come towards your hips. And then step back to plank. I said step. So we're starting off a little slower in our vinyasa here. In our vinyasa means flow. So you're flowing even with your breath, even while you're in plank. You want to feel that you're lifting up in between your shoulder blades. You feel that your abdominals are hugging, like your belly button wants to go out the other side. And now notice for a moment what your face is doing. Maybe you can smile just a little bit for a radical practice. With your next inhale, shift your whole body forward so you're nearly falling off your tippy toes, and then slowly lower all the way down to the ground. Now stretch your feet out so your toenails are pushing down to the ground. Imagine that's where your roots come from. Get your thighs engaged, your knees pop off, and then inhale, low cobra. So you lift up your chest, but with your back strength. And just to check, like, cobras don't have hands, so just lift up your hands and be like, na, 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 na. Look, I got these hands, so cool. Take another full inhale, bravely reach your chest by working your back muscles. And then exhale, push back onto your knees and then to downward facing dog. You can soften the bend in your knees so you can reach your sit bones up to the ceiling. Feel your fingers spread out. Take a full inhale, and with your exhale, empty your breath all the way, look forward, and lightly jump your feet up in between your hands. Inhale, stretch your chest forward. Imagine filling the back of your lungs. Exhale, release and bow forward. Let your head drop. Push down with your feet. Rise up, stretch up tall, reach up to the sky. And with your exhale, come back to center, Samastitihi. And then at the end of your exhale, drop your hands and you're ready to start again. Inhale, lift up high. Exhale, bow down, let your knees be soft. Drop your head. Inhale, halfway lift, your chest moves forward, belly lifts up. And now step back to plank. Shift forward and now lower halfway down. Chaturanga, beautiful. Elbows and shoulders, same height. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften your knees. Even with your knees bent, your hamstrings stretch. So a good check. When we're first starting our practice, we're teaching our muscles, we're training our body. So like you don't have to train right at the deep end right away. You can be in the shallows. You can be in a gentle place. So if you ever need to skip a vinyasa, do that. Maybe you just need to go back to downward facing dog sometimes. Or being gentle on your lower back by doing low cobra instead of upward facing dog. Take another full feeling inhale. Empty your breath all the way, and then hop your feet quietly up in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Beautiful. When you're doing it right, you nearly fall forward. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Inhale, push down with your feet. Roll up, rise up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Now step your feet together with your heels just like 2 centimeters apart. Bend your knees deeply and drop your hands down so your fingers touch the ground. Now notice where your hips are. Squeeze your thighs together, squeeze your legs together, and then inhale, Utkatasana. So again, you want to see you have this nice little booty sticking out behind you. Some of us are luckier than others, right, Steph? So you want to find the weight in your heels. Find them incredible muscles. There's this whole study actually linked to intelligence in women and the size of their butt. We'll have to find it. Anyways, find the weight in your heels. Now see if you can pull your abdominals in and just lift your chest a little bit more. Gorgeous. Now with your exhale, bow forward, let your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. So step to plank or jump straight to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog with your thighs off the ground, toenails in the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, touch your right shoulder. It's really high up there. It's really hard to find, but just try to get your knee all the way to your shoulder. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Try it again. Exhale, right knee, right shoulder. Inhale, stretch your leg long. And with your exhale, bring your knee forward to your chin and then place your right foot next to your right thumb. Let your left heel be lifted and rise up, crescent lunge. Breathe into it and let's stay. We're gonna breathe here. So for a moment, bend your back knee and then tuck your tail. You might have different sound effects. Now keep the power in your alignment here and just push back through your left heel to straighten your left thigh. Gorgeous. Now feel the freedom in your upper body because your legs are so strong. You can even feel like you're squeezing your inner thighs together here. Take another joyful inhale, practicing being fully alive, and then exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Stretch the whole front of your body. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, try to touch your left shoulder with your knee. It's really hard. Nice job, Perry. Inhale, stretch it up, maybe a little higher. With your exhale, touch your left knee to your left shoulder. Oh my goodness. Inhale, stretch your leg long. And then bring your knee to your chest. And then step your foot forward. Very nice. It's a little abdominal work. You got it. Inhale, lift up, crescent lunge. So your back heel's lifted, which gives you enough freedom to square your hips straight forward. Get strong and powerful with what's behind you. Your foundation is how you can be free here. So the foundation is your legs. Find that you're squeezing your inner thighs together. And if you're a little bit more of an advanced practice, you're really lifting up your Mula Bandha here. Palms facing one another. So your shoulders can be relaxed. And maybe dare to start to look up and find the back bend. And with your next exhale, travel all the way to chaturanga or the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let your knees be soft and your love fierce. Maybe a couple wiggles. So what we're trying to do in our bodies, we're really trying to stoke our fire, to get our fire hot and warm. And this really heats up the inside of our body, which increases our muscle flexibility. When we sweat, we're detoxing things that we don't need in our body. And all of these yoga moves are kind of designed to hug and squeeze your organs because they do well when they get hugs as well. They live better, they function better. So take another full inhale, empty your breath, pull your hips up and back, and then shoot your feet forward, hopping quietly in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, drag your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Bend your knees deeply and bravely, rise up, let your heart be open. Utkatasana, then exhale, stand up, Samastitihi. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky, and with your exhale, try to touch your shoulder again. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Try a push-up here. It should be a little bit easier, but then the push-up makes it interesting. Inhale, stretch your leg long. And with your exhale, bring your your knee forward, step your foot to your thumb, and rise up, crescent lunge. And then exhale, open up, warrior two. And let's breathe here. Exactly. So you want to imagine that you're stretching your mat a little longer with your feet pushing down into the ground. You want to feel the outside edge of your back foot pushing down. You want to get low enough in your right thigh that I could get a sumo wrestler just to sit on your thigh. I'm not a sumo wrestler, but imagine like 3 of me. So you want to push your thigh down. You want your right knee over your right ankle, and then you want to track your knee so it's pointing over your toes. And this might mean, Catherine, I think that you have to tuck your tail a little bit more. Just bring it underneath you. You got it. Take another full inhale. Let your thigh burn. Then exhale, stay there. Then inhale, reverse your warrior like you're loading up. And exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your gorgeous left leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, tap your left shoulder. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Enjoy a push-up. Yeah. Inhale, stretch your leg long. And with your exhale, bring your knee forward and step your left foot next to your left thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. And then exhale, open up warrior 2. So you went from your hips being squared and closed forward to being open and parallel to the long side of your mat. Now I know your breathing is challenged, which is gorgeous. That's what we want to find. But try to breathe through your nose. Reach your middle fingers away from each other like they need a little space. I think Per nearly has 2 meters in between his fingertips. Well done. Feel your abdominals hugging towards your spine, your shoulders dropping down your back. So you're peaceful, strong, and open at the right time with the right people in the right place. Now inhale, reverse your warrior, and with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra, but feel your heart opening with the power of your legs. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften your knees, and again, really roll your sit bones up to the sky. Let your body recover. We're doing this on purpose. It shouldn't be punishing, but it should be challenging. We want to challenge ourselves on the yoga mat so that we have more peace in the challenging moments of our day. Because it doesn't always feel like we're in the right place at the right time with the right people, does it? Very goodina. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way, and then float your feet in between your hands lightly. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Bend your knees bravely and deeply. Rise up. And then with your exhale, samastitihi. I know, my bad. All right. Inhale, Katasana. And with your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Keep your heart lifting and reaching. Inhale up to center. With your exhale, open arm twist to your left. Be careful not to slap anyone. Inhale up to center. With your feet together, with your exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Glide your chest forward, wide open chest. And then walk or jump. Exhale from plank to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, touch your right knee to your left elbow. Now try a push-up. Oh yeah, baby. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. This push-up should feel easier. It's all relative, baby. Inhale, stretch long. And with your exhale, step your right foot all the way forward to your right thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. And with your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale up to crescent lunge. And with your exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, bend your knee and take it to your right elbow. Try a push up here. It's totally easier than the other side. Just kidding. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Enjoy a simpler push-up. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Bring your knee to your chest. Feel your abdominals going, yes, and step your foot forward. Rise up, inhale, crescent lunge. Open arm twist to your left. Inhale up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hopefully you're feeling like you're starting to glow, unless your sweat is already starting to flow. But this is what we're after. It's like our whole body can participate in taking care of us, not just our head. Now, maybe you can do this without dropping your knees down. See if you can drop one elbow to the ground and then the other, and find your way into dolphin pose. So, Bridget, squeeze your elbows just a little bit closer together. And that way you'll make sure you have enough room to nod your head. Yes, yes, I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people. Without the yoga mat hitting your head, you know? So if you don't have enough room, just squeeze your elbows closer. Beautiful. Now, step your feet a little bit closer, both of them. And this might be as far as you're going today. Steffi, see if you can have your fingers pointing straight forward. Stiffy, yeah. Like not having your fingers out like that. There you go. Now, stretch your right leg straight up to the sky. Straight up from your back. Just lift your leg. It can be a queer leg. That's awesome. And then switch your legs. Gorgeous. And then bring yourself down. Let your knees drop to the ground. Let your hips sink back. Child's pose. So one of the measures of fitness isn't just what we can do, but how quickly we can get over it. So let your body, as they say in Swedish, chilla. Isn't it cool you can understand Swedish? All right. Now, lift up onto your knees. And you're going to take your right hand to your right heel. And you're going to reach your left arm over to your right. So you're in a one-armed dancing camel. And with your exhale, you're going to sweep your right arm up and take the other side. And then we're going to do two more. So allow yourself to come down, grab opposite heels, feel how natural it is, and then do the other arm. And one more round. Inhale. Inhale. And then exhale to child's pose. So dancing camel. We'll do it again sometime. I really like this pose. And Pear does it so nicely. Take a moment in child's pose. Come back to your nature, to your center. And then bring your forearms forward. Lining up so your hands, like you can imagine your middle finger pointing straight forward from your forearm. So the bone of your arm goes straight through your middle finger, or you can interlace your fingers like you had earlier, Hedwig. That's totally okay. And then tuck your toes under and lift up into dolphin. Now look forward to your fingertips and stretch your right leg up to the sky. Now keep looking forward and then start to play a little bit. Just hop a little bit, or as you do, lift up into forearm balance. So in forearm balance, eventually you're looking towards your fingertips and you're straightening your spine. Keep your legs straight, Stephanie. Beautiful. Keep your breath going. Notice if your elbows are starting to slide out. Squeeze them together. Beautiful. Land quietly like a big fat cat. Woo! Are you okay, Bridget? You did well. You did perfect. So part of liberation is being able to fall and get back up. And exhale, come to child's pose. Nice, Hedwig. So if you feel like you're going to fall, you pretend like you're on fire. You drop and roll. You don't fight the flow. So take your child's pose. That was really good, Bridget. You did great. Yes, Hedwig. All right, we're gonna do one more dancing camel. I've never actually seen a camel dance. Okay, so you're on your shins. You start with your right hand holding your right heel, and then you take your left arm to the right. You lift up your chest, and with your exhale, drop down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale down, push your hips forward. Inhale up. One more full round. Right, hips forward. Left, hips forward. And then find your way back to child's pose. It's kind of fun. You want to keep doing it, don't you? I like it, at least. Notice the fire in your body and feel how it's really become a friendlier fire. Notice how much more it feels good now than it did earlier, where it was just kind of hard to get there. All right. Bring your elbows and arms forward and come up into dolphin. So it might be just enough for you to stay in dolphin, or if you want to try the other leg, step your right foot a little closer to your right elbow and stretch your left leg up to the sky. And it's really helpful to keep looking forward as you're jumping, because this kind of puts a stop to your jump. Allow your breath to help you. Allow your breath to help you. Gorgeous. Now find the length in your spine. Lift your legs up to the ceiling for 5, 4, 3, 2. Pike at your hips to come down gently. Exhale, child's pose. Does that feel okay? Let your hips sink back. Now you might have to adjust your hair a little bit here. We're gonna do a rabbit pose. So we've just been doing some back bending, so I don't want you to yank and pull. I want you to be a little gentle with it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna reach your hands back to your heels. And then I usually have to move my love bun over here because that's where my head will be touching the ground. And I bring my head to the ground and start to lift up my hips, pulling my belly up to my spine. Now, if you have a little bit more space, walk your knees towards your face, not the other way around. Feel your hips lifting, your back arching, your belly lifting. And you might get a little scared here. It's just the nature of this pose, the way it aligns us. And then gently release, come down to child's pose. And then inhale, lift up. And you're gonna cross your ankles, roll over your crossed ankles, stretch your legs out in front of you. And if you are stacked over your hips, fine, great, no need to adjust. But if you find that you're like a little bit behind yourself, you can sit on the book or a block or stuffed animal. And then it helps you tilt your pelvis forward. Now, get active with your legs. You're pushing your heels forward. Letting your thigh muscles engage is one of the ways that tells your hamstrings to relax. And then you're gonna take your hands, and you have these little spiders in the ends of your hands, and you're gonna walk your hands next to your legs and kind of walk them as fingers or little spiders forward, and then reach your chest forward, wiggle your butt back, And then see if you can do that again. So feel like you're moving your chest more than your chin. And once you don't have any space to reach your chest forward and wiggle your hips back again, then soften into the forward bend here. So you're stretching the whole backside of your body. So you come really active in it. And at the end of it, you feel free to drop your gaze a little bit, soften. So you'll find that in our yoga practice, we have some moments that are very, very clearly yin moments. And then we have other moments that are very, very clearly yang moments. But most of the time, they work together. So there's a part of our body that's being yin, while another part of our body's being yang, or our body's being yang and our insides are being yin. This kind of balance, this holy balance between the masculine and feminine, between the light and the dark, fire and the water, is a way of measuring health in all living systems. So whether it's the balance of the pHs in the field and the soil, or whether it's in our own body. This is also a little bit of the mystery of why some medicines work for some people, but not other people. We want to have a balance. See if you can maybe make your exhales just a little bit longer. Whenever we feel like we're getting too high and burning too bright and too light, doing extra exhales actually kind of calms our whole body down. Beautiful. With your inhale, roll up and bend your left knee. And then you want to have a hand's width in between your left foot and your right thigh. So Stephanie, we're not crossing the leg over this time. There's like yeah, exactly. But we are going to do a twist. So take your left hand behind you, lift up your right arm, and with your exhale, bring your elbow to the outside of your knee. Inhale, get tall, exhale, twist. Would have been nicer with the foot crossed. And then take your arm perhaps back behind you if you want a little bit more. But as long, yeah, you got it. As long as your right shoulder is by your left knee, you're in a twist, and allow your head to twist with it. Look behind you. Keep the uprightness. Keep your right leg active. And then with your exhale, unwind and just give a little like bow to your right hand side, your yin side, apparently. And then switch your legs. So bring your right knee so it's pointing up to the sky. You want to feel both your sit bones on the ground. And you're going to take your right hand and bring it back behind you to help you sit upright. And then stretch up with your left arm. Turn away from your arm. Bring your elbow to the outside and get really active in your legs here, even though we're doing a passive, not a passive, we're doing a twist. So we think of relaxing more. But the action in your legs allows for freedom in your spine. And then unwind and give a little bow to the left-hand side. Apparently the yang side. Different than I thought for years. And then come back to center and just hug in. Hug your knees in, drop your head. And just take a moment here and feel your vibrancy, your vitality. And then stretch your body long and come into Shavasana. So this final pose is like part of pretty much why we do our practice. So in this final rest, you want to let your whole body relax. Let your legs be wide. If your lower back hurts, you can have your knees bent And slide your feet out as wide as your yoga mat and let your knees fall back together. This should feel gentle on your lower back. Let your eyes close. Let the earth have you. Let gravity sink down. Sink down. Gravity's going to stay the same, but let it pull you down. Instead of drifting away and dreaming, practice being right here, right now. Stay present. With your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe smile. You can stretch your arms long over your head and reach your heels away from you on your inhale. And when on your exhale, just roll onto your right hand side, hugging your knees to your chest. And just again, feel for a moment the aliveness, the vibrancy and vitality. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Allow your hands to come to heart center. Root down towards the ground to feel the lightness of lifting up towards the sky. Close your eyes and just picture for a moment these other people in different places, both strangers and sisters. We share this moment together, even if we didn't share physical space. Thank you so much for being here. Let's close with one Om. Empty your breath first. Take a nice, full, deep inhale. Ah. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say, Namaste. And so much love. Make some noise. Woo-hoo. This helps us be present. It also clears the space energetically. So it leaves you freer to go be awesome in the rest of your day. So thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how to contribute or want to get in touch with me, you can always go to raystar.com. So much love to you guys. Go out there and be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.